Welcome to Rational Alchemy. I'm here with another travelling model who is touring around America, Lilith Jenovax. Lilith, this has been a year and a half in the making. I'm so glad we eventually get to meet each other and work together.
It's been a long time.
It's wonderful. Now, of course, what happened was COVID hit.
Yeah.
So the shoot and everything that we arranged a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago, got scrubbed. Mm-hmm. Okay? How did COVID affect your business?
Oh, man. I mean, I think for most artists in general, it really put everything to a halt, especially because for me, the tour I was planning was my first, it was basically the tour I'm doing now. It was cross country the very first time going west, and it was supposed to be my longest one. This is also my longest one. And I departed the day that everything kind of hit and everyone was like, oh, this is really serious. So I got all the way to Dallas.
I can remember that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, maybe if I'm careful, I can, just figure it out. I can be safe, And then as the news, it just kept getting worse. I was only a day in and I was 12 hours from home. And I took a nap and woke up at midnight at my Airbnb and was like, I think I just need to call it quits, drive back home and message everybody because it's way too risky. And I'm so glad I did because as soon as I got home, everywhere started shutting down. And it would have been hell trying to get back home.
Oh, it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. And I probably would have gotten sick way sooner than I did too because I did end up getting COVID eventually. But
oh, you did?
Yeah, in December of last year, so it's almost been a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had the vaccine?
Yes. I have both doses of Pfizer.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done. I'm a Moderna man, so,
Yes.
I don't think it makes a lot of difference, to be honest with you.
No, probably not.
So now that COVID is slowly dropping out, though of course we are still having a heck of a lot of problems in this country.
Yeah.
Are you finding that you're able to still find now the photographers and everything else that you
Yeah. I think it's still, I think people are a lot more, they have to be more cautious now, both because people's income is still being affected and of course some people aren't able to get the vaccine. A lot of people are refusing to get it, even if they can get it. So, a lot of people have to be careful and are still trying to get back on their feet. But it's still been pretty good for me. I think the whole year touring, I think this is the third one I've done this year. The biggest one, but the third one. The second one was really small, just down in Florida. But it's been pretty good.
Excellent.
But the thing that really helped me, and I think so many artists over the pandemic, was Patreon and OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kept me afloat. Without that, I don't know. I would have had to have filed for unemployment or something.
Or something.
Yeah, I would have had to beg my mom for money. Let me come home because it was done. It was over. Especially since thankfully COVID wasn't bad for me, but I am technically in the compromised group because of asthma, and I almost died from pneumonia when I was little. Mm-hmm. But thankfully for me, it was kind of like the flu on steroids, so it sucked, but
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that, but I was petrified for a while.
I can understand that only too well.
Terrified, yeah.
I mean, the horror shows that we heard about and are still hearing about are dreadful. The number of people that have been now rushed to hospital with COVID, I wish I'd taken the vax.
Yeah.
Okay, you've only had a year to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's all this. Yeah. Don't get me going on my other favourite topic, but all this fake news is coming out about, let's take horse dewormer. Yeah. Oh, that's a real winner.
Yeah.
Bill Gates hid the tracking chip in the horse dewormer. I'll tell you right now. Anyway, I have interviewed travelling models before, and Aurora Red I worked with, and we did a very nice interview and a shoot in the studio. Obviously, we're going to be shooting a little later.
Yes.
So normally my opening question would have been, what on earth made you take up modelling? What on earth made you become a travelling model? But the COVID thing, I thought, probably had a little bit more priority.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm now going to ask what would normally be my opening question. How did you get into this business? Because it is such a strange business.
It really is. And I find, when I explain it to people, I realize how strange it is. But I got my first DSLR when I was 12. I begged my mom for it. So I basically started on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And, I still do photography as
Yes.
well. And I love photography.
I would hope so.
Yes, it's my passion. I want to end up doing it more and converting more into that part of business. But I got that when I was 12, and I kind of just took pictures of everything. But eventually, as I got older, I started doing more self-portraits, which, I still do now, and I love doing that. But basically, I just did that, and when I turned 18, people were like, hey, I really love your work. You should come shoot with me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, why not? I love doing this, and I'm legal now, so I can do whatever I want, so cool. And my very first photo shoot was nude. Not that I recommend that to most people, but mine was. And after that, it was kind of really organic. I never was like, oh, I'm going to be a model. I was like, oh, people seem to like what I do, and I seem to be good at this, so I guess I'll do this. And I was just kind of doing it while I was in college, like part-time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then my first year officially out of college was last year, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, woo, happy graduation to me.
Well done.
Yes.
What were you studying?
Psychology.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting subject.
Yeah, I started, my major started in photography, but I think I was about a year in and I switched, so, yeah.
Was there a reason for that, or?
I thought with the way that I was looking at photography, I didn't really want to teach it or do anything like that, so I was like, if I'm going to school, and I got to go essentially for free, basically, because I had a scholarship, thankfully, but I was like, I feel like I can learn this more on my own, and I'm not going to need a degree for it if I don't want to teach or anything. So I was like, just in case the arts don't work out, because I feel like I could do that on my own. I really love science, and I really love psychology. I always thought if I could ever get the money to have a master's, I would love to be a therapist, but that's very expensive in America.
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this, and I think it was some of my core science classes where I had to take a psych class or something like that, and I was like, oh, well, I love this, so I decided
it just sucked you in.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to change it, and I found that my art classes kind of made me hate art in a way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't really like being told, like, oh, you're going to get a bad grade on this if you decided to do it this way instead of, it's like, I get it, I get that you have to work within guidelines, and that's how you have to do it in the real world too, but I didn't like not having freedom. I didn't even get to the photography classes before I switched majors. I was still in the cores for art. So I switched fast.
Was this painting, or what sort of art was this?
I did drawing
because
1.
They're wrong, and I'll tell you why in a second.
I did drawing 1 and drawing 2. I did art history, which was one of the hardest classes, actually, up there with neuroscience, honestly.
Yeah.
It was so hard. And then I did 2D design.
Okay.
And, they could be fun, but it was just being put in this little box. I mean, like, you have to do this. And I get it, but I'm just like...
When it comes to 2D design, yes, you are trapped in a box.
Yeah.
Because there is only one way of doing it. When it comes to drawing 1 and 2, they should never have trapped you in a box.
Yeah. It was a lot of
my daughter Vanessa has a master's in art.
Yeah.
Okay. She trained. First of all, she got a bachelor's at Metro down in Denver, and then she went out to the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art and got a master's. They never restricted her art.
Oh.
She was allowed to do total free expression, because in art there are no rules.
You would think. Yeah.
No, there are no rules.
Yeah.
And this has been proven through the history of art.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you can create a red canvas with a black square in the middle of it and sell it for $1 million, I guarantee you there are no rules.
Yeah, or like the banana that was just put on a wall, and they were like, all right,
that's
here,
right.
art.
Or a photograph of Marilyn Monroe done in multicolor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't get it.
Yeah.
But someone did.
I think if I recall, the actual definition of art, one of them anyway, is just expression of self.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's hard to really, and I get like it's school, so you have to find a way to grade things or whatever, but it's just being told, okay, draw this and do it in this way. I'm just like,
right. Vanessa does suffer from bipolar,
So do I.
unfortunately. Sorry?
So do I, yeah.
You don't?
Yes, I have...
It's a shame Vanessa's not here. She could have...
Right? I have, I think it's type 1, the less severe
Okay.
type. But
Yeah.
yes.
Vanessa is a lot better now than she used to be. But
Yeah, me as well.
so when she was doing her bachelor's, she put together a book, okay,
Yeah.
and talked about her bipolar in it.
Yeah.
Then she went out and was interviewed at PAFTA, Pennsylvania Academy, and they then asked her during her interview, what do you want to accomplish at the end of 2 years? And Vanessa said, this book that I did for my bachelor's, which is about that thick,
Awesome.
I want to turn it into a real book
Yeah.
that ended up being about that big.
Yeah.
And that's also coffee table size. And
awesome.
she spent the whole 2 years designing the art that she wanted to put in the book.
Yeah.
And she wrote long essays on the pictures or on a blank page, depending on what she wanted to talk about, taken directly from her diary. And it was kind of interesting because when she graduated, what's the head called of a school? Principal called her in. He said to her, you are the only student that accomplished at the end of 2 years what you said you were going to accomplish 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The only one. And can you imagine how many students have been through that school?
Yeah.
The school's colossal.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. But yeah, so we produced it, and it's called Pendulum, which is her name. And of course, and when you're bipolar, life can be very...
From end to end.
From end to
very
end.
Very much so.
Full of her art. They never tracked her. She was allowed to express herself in any way. Anyway, we're getting a bit sidetracked here. Just a modicum. Okay, so you started a model when you were 18.
Yes.
Discovered the freedom that it actually gave you, especially if you did a nude shoot first.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden something said, you know what, I'm going to travel around the country.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's got to be so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Aurora explained how she kept track of everything, and...
It's crazy.
It's a magic show.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
What made you do it?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if I even really remember my first official tour. If I remember, it may have just been a small one up to North Carolina, because I have a lot of great friends artistically and non-artistically up there. But I think probably what it may have even been is just seeing other models that I had connected with or that really inspired me, seeing them do that and seeing them get to meet all these incredible people and get to do something they love instead of have to go to a job every day that doesn't pay them what they deserve to be paid and doesn't make them feel like a part of something. So I was like, I love the freedom that they're getting to do with that, and they're getting to see things that I've never gotten to see. Like out here, like this is my first time out here. I've never seen landscapes like this before.
Right.
Getting to meet all types of different people, not just being stuck in the South in Georgia. Like I feel like so many people never get out of their own hometown,
There is enough room in the state for you to move here,
Oh, man, it's expensive here. It is expensive.
It's probably... It probably is 1.5 to 2.5 times more expensive than Georgia.
Yeah.
And when it comes to housing, we're probably talking 3.5 to 4.5.
Oh yeah. It wasn't as bad as Cali though. California.
Oh no, that's off the wall.
Insanity. But yeah, I have realized I was like, man, the more westward I got, it's like it is expensive out here.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's not so bad in Georgia.
Of course, our lifestyle is very different out here.
Yeah.
We're far more laid back.
Yes, definitely. I love...
We don't have arguments about our elections.
Yeah.
We just all get on well together.
I love the energy here. And I also love the existence of dispensaries here. I think that's incredible. I'd never seen those before. So
really?
Yeah. I'd never been to
So Georgia still hasn't legalized?
I think we have it legal for medical, but I don't think it's so
it's
recent. I don't even... Yeah, it's not recreational, but it's so new medically. I'm not even sure if we have any places up yet.
I don't know, you smoked, I brought some.
But we already
you already hit
checked
one,
out the
did you?
dispensaries. We went to a dispensary in Las Vegas, and we went to one over in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think over in Dillon, here, like an hour away the other day. So yeah, we've checked them out and stocked up a little bit. Out. Yeah, we've got a little bit to take home.
We have some strains here that just knock pure socks off.
Yes, I've loved
unbelievably strong.
And the edibles, I'm like, oh my god.
They're something different.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, when I was going to college, I used to go to college in Southampton, which is in the UK, of course. And it's a port town, so a vast majority of the grass and the hashish was coming through. I love hashish, by the way. Was coming through Southampton. And of course, back then, you could smoke 2 joints and still be okay.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
oh my god, I know.
It's about half a joint and you're wasted.
It's insane, especially when people do dabs. Mm-hmm. Those would kill me. I would be in a coma shortly. I don't understand.
Wow.
But I love it. I love the different type of feeling of the culture out here. It's incredible. And not feeling like everyone's looking at you like a weirdo whenever you walk down the street, because everyone, I feel like, in the South is so judgmental, and especially if you have like piercings or anything like that.
Oh, anything like that.
Yeah, they're like,
you must be the spawn of the devil.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Remember, I lived there.
Yeah.
I lived in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, it's probably about the same as my little town in North Georgia.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Huntsville is it's a very democratic town.
Oh. Okay.
In fact, if you look on the maps, you'll find that Huntsville and the Madison area, which is right next to it, is just a big sea of blue in an ocean of red.
Okay.
But
I've never been to Huntsville.
It's kind of interesting because Huntsville, there are more PhDs per capita in Huntsville than any other city in America. NASA, Marshall Space Flight Center, Boeing, Lockheed, and the list goes on. And the airport in Huntsville, it has a runway that's 1.5 miles long.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, Huntsville itself actually was actually quite a pleasant place to live. It wasn't bad at all. But go 40 miles out of town, you're in Redneck City.
About that,
Yeah.
And anytime I drive through Arkansas, I'm just like, please get me out of here. Peace and love. But I hate Arkansas.
Tell you a little funny story. When I was first moving to Huntsville, I was travelling, and a good friend of mine down there, Alan Washburn, his name, he said, do you fancy spending the weekend up on my hunting shack on the top of a mountain in Tennessee? So I looked at him and said, oh, yeah, all right. So we jump in his Jeep, driving through Tennessee. Oh, better stop and get some provisions. We pull into a little corner store, not a 7-Eleven, just a little corner store. Walked in, and it was Deliverance. The only thing missing was a kid sat on the bar playing banjo. Otherwise, it would have been perfect. They could have cast the whole movie again, just walking into that one shop. Never seen anything like it. And he really did own a hunting lodge on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Except I'd call it a big hill, but they call them mountains. So, back to modelling.
Yeah.
So, you talk about travelling as a model. Have you ever run into any bad situations?
Yes.
Are you willing to talk about them?
Let's see, because I feel like I have so many. If I can remember, I know some of them have just been at home, not even touring, but not even photographer related. The first thing that comes to my head is just people just in different cities just being so weird to women walking down the street. Mm-hmm. Like I remember this year when I was in Philadelphia and I was going to a museum there, I had this dude follow me into the museum, just trying to talk to me, wasn't even going to the museum or anything like that, which was just odd. In different cities, figuring out the culture and where to go and where not to go.
Right.
But photographer-wise, yeah, there's so many weirdos out there. But I feel like I've gotten really good at figuring out who's trusty, who's gonna do what they say they're gonna do and not flake on me or whatever and feel out their vibe. But even there's even to this day still times where I'm like, I don't know how I didn't pick up on this sooner, like,
right.
Or even people still flaking, canceling, just never showing up. But it's.
That also works the other way around.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yes, definitely. But at least on my end, though, I haven't been shooting professionally as much as I have modeling. I've had a pretty good experience with models, but then again, I'm not with them quite as much. But photographer-wise, yeah. And unfortunately, I feel like it really does seem to be a lot of times the erotic photographers, which I feel like is such a shame because they get a bad rap, and there's so many good ones out there.
Yes.
But there's so many weird ones that it even makes me be like, you know what? I don't even know if I want to do that anymore with people I don't know, because it's such a vulnerable situation that people are like opening up to you and trusting you, and then to just violate that. It's just, I don't know, coming to be not worth it to even take the chance.
Right. See, that to me is inexcusable behaviour.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, if it wasn't for models like you, I'd be out there photographing bushes and mountains and trees.
It's like, landscapes are cool, but,
and I do that.
Yeah, same.
However,
same.
If I didn't treat you like goddess on earth,
–
I'm not doing my job as a photographer.
Yeah.
The other important thing is during a shoot, if you're not having fun, if I'm not having fun, why the heck are we doing it?
And I feel like it will show in some way in the film.
Oh, it definitely does.
Like if you're uncomfortable, you're not. It's not going to work out. Something's gonna.
The smile goes from natural to forced.
Yeah.
And you can easily tell the difference between the two.
And especially in the eyes, I feel like.
Oh yes,
in
definitely.
the eyes in the photo, like I'm like, oh, she was hating her life in that. I can tell. Like, yeah. And it's unfortunate hearing, especially when there's photographers that you've worked with and had great experiences with, and then you see another model who has been taken advantage of by them, and you're like, oh. Well, shit, how many other ones are there? And they were so nice to me. And, well, I guess, do I cut this person off now? And I've had to do that as well. Be like, well, this person has such beautiful work and I've always wanted to work with them. But turns out they're a predator. So that sucks.
You have to be very careful in situations like that because you never know quite where the truth is.
Yeah.
Because the photographer will say one thing, the model will say another thing, and the truth is probably somewhere in the gap.
But when you have so many people coming out with different...
And that I'll agree with.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and usually that's how I feel like it usually comes out. Like I had a bad experience with a photographer in Atlanta, and after I posted about it in one of the safety groups, a thread of people just came out saying similar things. And I was like, oh my gosh. And this person still works in Atlanta, still has a name down there. I don't find a lot of professional models work with him anymore. But yeah, it's like, if someone, I think it's so important to speak up if you at least can. Because if one person does it, then sometimes you will see a train.
It'll help start the waterfall.
Yeah.
Which is a great shame, but it needs to be done.
It does, yeah. Because I had no idea there were so many, and there's even more. There's a guy in Texas. Like, it's just, when one person speaks out, you realize, oh my God, you are far from the only one. Usually, I find. So yeah, and that's always a difficult battle, especially if you were friends with the person, which thankfully I never have been, besides like over Facebook or something like that. But I have friends who are really close with certain people, and they were like, I thought this person was my best friend, and apparently they're not good to people like me. So how can I ever be with this person or work with this person or trust this person again? So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
sometimes people do have the alter ego that comes out, and you don't get to see. You never get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the most typical example of that would be going back to the Second World War. Hermann Göring.
Yeah.
Killed billions. He loved children.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't hurt the hair on the head of a child.
Yeah.
Two totally different personas.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
Truly, yeah. I mean, even I feel like I've been thinking about this a lot lately, but even like the Chris Watts case.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you look at that and it seems like they were so happy for so long, perfect family, and then just
boom,
different.
something happens.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you truly never know. You never know.
And that is so true.
And it's so horrifying, especially whenever you are, because most of the time when I tour I am alone. Thankfully I'm not always, but a lot of times I am. And so I think about stuff like that where I'm like, well, even if you think you know somebody, I don't even know half of these people, so it's like...
Right.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah.
It's a really... I mean, I try to guess as well I can and always check references and things like that, but... You know, something could always go wrong.
That's why my Model Mayhem account, for instance, I've listed all the models that I literally have worked with.
Yes, and I appreciate that. When I see people with no references, I'm like,
And, I can prove that everything they said about me is true, but I'm also giving you the Model Mayhem number.
Exactly.
And the trouble is, of course, you never quite know whether they're going to answer or not.
Yeah. Because
sometimes model would suddenly just vanish.
Yeah, just poof. Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Let's see, what was her name? Cedar, or was it Cedar something? I can't remember now. Anyway, she wrote up a very nice little thing about me and said, and he even took me to the airport. Which I thought was kind of nice.
I do know. I think you worked with Kat Malone.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I don't know if I recognize anyone else in your portfolio, but I know I've never met her, but I've admired her from afar. So, yes. And so when I saw her, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think we did a shoot in Broomfield, if memory serves me well.
Cool.
Which isn't actually far from here.
Yeah, okay.
That reminds me, if you come back to Denver, please find somewhere a little easier to get to.
Yeah, definitely.
Without mile-long trains blocking all the roads.
In Denver, I actually didn't run into a train.
You're lucky.
But we probably came from yeah, we probably will. I definitely will when I get home. Everywhere. There's something in my eye.
Yeah, it always used to make me smile because some evenings driving home from work in Huntsville, I'd get into Madison where the main line ran through. And all of a sudden the barriers would go down and, a typical 1.5 mile long train trundling through at 5 miles an hour.
15 minutes. It's all good.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to mention? Being a model.
Wow. Being a model. I would say, I guess, something that I find a big misconception I think people have about models is that a lot of people seem to think that they're obviously egotistical and only have their image and things like that. But I have found that models are some of the most, honestly, insecure people. And really, that is quite sad. And I think that a lot of them are trying to find a way to be secure. They're not. I mean, there's some that are, glitzy glamour, like, I'm the best thing in the world. But a lot of the models I know, I feel like especially art models, are really vulnerable, raw, emotional people, and a lot of them super intelligent. Like I know one of them, I can't remember her name offhand, but she used to work full time as a scientist, and she decided, you know what, I want to be a model, and so she went and decided to do that. And I'm like, you never know. You never know someone's backstory. You never know what they're dealing with. So just because someone is open to allowing their form to be their paintbrush, it's super silly to make judgments on that, or any artist for that reason. But
absolutely.
That popped into my head, so there's that.
I mean, I wish I had $1 for every time I've been asked, well, you must go to bed with your models.
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, God.
What makes you think that?
Yeah.
Well, they're nude.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah. Yep.
It truly amazes me what the misconceptions about what we do.
Yes, truly. Yeah, especially when you bring nudity into it. Especially here in America, because people are like, oh, you're naked? Well, something else must be going on. How can you be in the same room, two of you together?
That's right.
Oh, my God.
I was in a conversation with someone who was very religious. Well, it's absolutely disgusting that you should take photographs of nude women. Oh, so you're saying that the work that God did is horrible?
Right.
And doesn't hear another word after that.
Right? You would think, like, that's your most, if you were to view it that way, that is your most pure, raw, God-given form. Would be your naked, raw body.
Yeah.
Like, And how much more powerful and badass can you get than being like, I love what I was given and who I am, and I don't need to, you can still be empowered, obviously, by covering up. But to the people that choose to not, especially when they've been told all their life they need to, what is more, I don't know, appreciating of what you're given than being like, this is what I have, and I love to create with it, and this is who I am, and I'm not ashamed of that.
That's right. I mean, it's like American television.
Yeah.
They can't show breasts or any nudity on open channels, on broadcast channels over the airwaves. Of course, via satellite they can because it doesn't come under the rules and regulations.
But you can show murder.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I can remember the movie clips they showed way back again from Vietnam, where you've got the general shooting a prisoner in the head. Yeah. And they showed that over and over again on television. Well, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
To me, that's far more pornographic.
Right. Yeah. It's horrific. Yeah.
It just stuns me. And it's probably the one downfall about living in America for me.
I agree. And I've unfortunately never had the pleasure of living anywhere else, even outside of Georgia. But I'm just hearing how people view it in other places. I'm just like, oh, that sounds so liberating to not feel like there's something wrong with your body because of some weird thing. Even especially in schools when they're like, cover up your shoulders. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with my shoulders?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And they would never have said that to a boy.
No, yeah.
Ever.
No, definitely not. Like, what?
I know. It's just ridiculous.
Man.
I almost feel that in American schools what they need to do is get all the boys in the gymnasium and then just spend 2 hours forcing them to watch 2, 6, 5, 10, 100 hours of naked ladies.
Yeah, just be desensitized.
Just beat the shit out of them.
Like, honestly. Like, I feel like one thing with nude modeling, I've come to, I like, nudity is nothing to me now. Right. I feel like I could see a nude person walking down the street and I'd just be like, oh shit, that person's having a good day.
Did you know there's a town in Germany where you could walk down the street nude?
Oh, I've always wanted to go to Germany. I love that.
Yeah. I accidentally found this photographer. I've got a Flickr account. I accidentally found this photographer in Germany. And I found his studio work and I sort of, hit the, make friends and all the rest of it. All of a sudden he started posting all these pictures and literally totally nude ladies just walking around.
You can do that in New York City, but it has to be for art.
Technically.
Yeah, it has to be for art and you can't undress there. You have to appear nude magically. You just have to get out of the car naked. And there you are.
Well, you see, that's like the porn industry.
Yeah, okay? Yeah.
If I pay you to have sex on film, that's illegal. That's illegal. Mm-hmm. If I pay you to act in my movie, that's not illegal.
Yeah. It's like, as long as everyone else can see it and enjoy it, you can do it.
Yeah. Just ridiculous. So
that was an insane concept to me. Like, what?
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
It makes no sense. But anyway, this country is full of very strange laws.
Yes, it very much is.
And the other thing, when I drove out to New Hampshire and back, it's really confusing. Every state having different laws.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Couldn't we just have one set of road rules across the country that we all understand?
You would think.
And the states that have a truck speed limit lower than a car speed limit.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you get stuck behind truck after truck after truck. It's just awful. Anyway, don't get me going on my other hot topic. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Or shall we call this a wrap? Because this has been a great little interview.
Well, I will plug one small thing.
Oh, plug it.
Besides being a model and photographer, I also do music, and that is actually my biggest passion, even though modeling is a very big part of me, and so is photography. I love music. And my partner is my producer and helps me write and create that, and I'm dropping my first official album in November. So yes,
Well
thank you
done.
very much. Yes, I'm
Love
very
it.
excited about that. It's been crazy, especially with the past year and a half.
What style of music?
It's a great question. I would say probably broadly it's alternative rock, pop elements in there. But yeah, some of the more recent songs have been very Billie Eilish-esque.
Okay.
Stuff stuff like that. But there's a few other elements in there. You get some acoustic guitar in some parts, and then some more metal, rocky things in other parts, some pop elements. So yeah, I feel like it's pretty diverse in range, and I don't know. This will be my first thing I've ever really released. I don't have EPs or anything like that. Just decided to jump in, do an album, do that. I feel like it's time.
How will people be able to buy it?
It will be available on every streaming platform, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify. It'll be on YouTube. If you're going to purchase it, I would recommend Apple Music, iTunes. That helps me the most. So yeah.
I personally wouldn't, but that's another story.
You know? One day I'm hoping maybe I can have actual CDs or vinyls or even like little cassette tapes. That would be sick.
Vinyl is very expensive
it's
nowadays.
So expensive. I looked up how much it would cost. It's insane. But CDs actually aren't that bad. So I don't know if I'll do that because the clock is ticking. But if not, right now, I would love to at least in the future have that available. But for now, it's just digital. No physical copies of it, but maybe that will change.
Maybe that will change.
Hopefully so.
I am so glad you plugged your music.
Thank you. Me too. Thanks for letting me.
Because music is also one of my passions.
Yes.
And in fact, I used to have a radio show up in Fort Collins.
Okay.
It was late night on a Saturday, and I used to play the most obscure European
I love that.
psychedelic rock,
Yes.
jazz rock, just straight rock, psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
All from the 60s and the 70s.
Cool. I do that.
Yeah, I used to get Fort Collins pretty darn stoned.
Hell yeah!
But it was great. I had some of the best phone calls as well when I was doing the show. But yeah, I did that for 5 years, and I did diversify a little bit towards the end. I play some more of the obscure American stuff as well. Yeah. But the European stuff. Yeah. You know, people were amazed at the music that I was playing that they'd never
See, that's what I appreciate, because one of the reasons I hate the radio is because I'm like, I can hear this on any of these channels. They're all playing the same thing over and over and over and over, and they play the same thing so much that it makes me just hate the songs themselves.
Yes.
It's awful. I hate it. But yeah, so anytime I find a station or anything, YouTube, whatever, and there's something different, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. I like this. Especially if it's weird. If something makes me go, what the heck? I'm like, I like it. I like that. Right. I take it.
When you get back home, we're going to have to touch base.
Yes.
Because I think I've got some music at home that you would love.
I'm down.
Because I've got a vast collection of music.
I'm always down to expand my horizons.
Yeah. You know, some of it is just off the wall stuff. And, I mean, for instance, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard Delirium by Yes?
No.
Never played on the radio over here. Probably because it's 25 minutes long.
Oh, I love long songs. I love long songs.
This is when Rick Wakeman had left because he'd had his heart attack. And they got Patrick Moraz to come in to do keyboards. And what they put together with Patrick Moraz, you sit there, save some of your weed, because stoned, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, you know, there's things like that. And it's so sad that it's obscure. Yeah. But in this country, it is obscure.
Yeah. But I feel like that's honestly some of the best.
And it takes you on a journey. It takes you on a total journey of music.
Yes.
All the way through. It's brilliant. Anyway, Lilith, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And I guess we better start doing some work together.
We can.
Thank you so much. And you take good care.
Yes, you as well.
Buy the music, folks. Buy the damn music. I'm ordering you. Music. Lilith. Music. Lilith. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm Nigel Aves, your host. That's it for another Rational Alchemy. Goodbye.